From Anshe Sfard Beth El Emeth Congregation, it's time to take 10 Minutes for Torah with Rabbi Joel Finkelstein.
Welcome to our discussion of Chanukah, role reversal. There was once a great rabbi, lived in the early 20th century, and he was known as the Kodjiklover. He was the Rav of Kodjiklov. Then he moved on to be one of the lecturers in the Rosh Yeshiva at the Yeshivas Chachmei Lublin, the yeshiva of Rav Meir Shapira, the founder of the Daf Yomi movement. He has a book called Eretz Tzvi. Unfortunately, he was a victim of the Holocaust. He perished in the Nazi Holocaust. He writes as follows about Chanukah. He says the Maharal, the great mystic of Prague, the Maharal of Prague, says that Chanukah is the completion of the kapara, the atonement from Yom Kippur. Chanukah is completion of the atonement for Yom Kippur. What has Chanukah got to do with Yom Kippur? So he says, well, let's think about Yom Kippur. It's sort of a complex day. Is it a happy day? Is it a sad day? Well, it's the happiest day of the year, because after all, you're Lifnei Hashem. Our representative, the Kohen Gadol, the high priest went as close as a human being can get to God. He went to the Holy of Holies several times. And he purifies himself and goes to the mikvah over and over again. And as such, the Jewish people have come as close to God as they can be. So there's great joy. On the other hand, it's also a day of judgment. So there's great trepidation. So Yom Kippur is a day of great holiness because it's Lifnei Hashem, because our representatives comes in front of God. But it's also a day of trepidation, and that somehow tempers that simcha, that joy. Now, there is tremendous Torah, tremendous purification. If a person does a tshuva, repents on Yom Kippur, they are forgiven. But there is an element of a day of judgment. A day of judgment, sometimes we lose out in the judgment. However, when it comes to Chanukah, in many ways, Chanukah is superior to Yom Kippur, says the Kodjiklover. How's that? Well, Chanukah is also Lifnei Hashem. Chanukah also, the Jew, stands before God. How's that? Well, Ramban says, based on the Medrash, that your job, Aaron, will be forever. How will Aaron's job be forever? After all, there's no Beis HaMikdash for 2,000 years. So the answer is, there's Chanukah. The person lights the Chanukah, lights the Chanukah candles. That is reminiscent of, it's symbolic of the actual lighting of the menorah in the Beis HaMikdash, in the holy sanctuary, in the Heichal, in front of the Holy of Holies. So, what happens? On Chanukah, a Jew goes to their Chanukah, they go to their Chanukah menorah, and they're actually standing before God themselves, not their representatives. We ourselves are standing there. Number two, says the Kodjiklover, since great miracles happen this time of year, therefore, the miracle sort of emerges every year at this time. We know the Sfas Emes says that this time of year, it's a time ripe for miracles. If it was a time that miracles happened by Yamim Mahem in those days, it's also, Bazman Hazeh, it's embedded, it's encoded in this time period of Chanukah, that there's also a time for miracles. And so the Kodjiklover says, in the lights of Chanukah, mitnotzetz tamid me'inam ora. There's always a sparkling of something similar to that time, the idea of miracle. What's miracle? Miracle is where you see God in an open and blatant kind of way. So Chanukah is doubly connected to Lifnei Hashem, in front of God. But notice the role reversal. Why? On Yom Kippur, our messenger is able to go into the Holy of Holies, and he gets close, and since he represents all of us, we are all getting closer, and when you get close, you have Torah, you have purification. When we come closer to God, we have purification. However, on Chanukah, I myself am going, the Beis HaMikdash comes to me. My house is a Beis HaMikdash, my house is a holy temple, and I am the Kohen Gadol. I am Aaron. Could there be any greater holiness or greatness than this? And in some ways, this is greater than Yom Kippur, because in Yom Kippur, it's only the messenger. And here, I myself. This idea of role reversal, we'll notice, is a feature of Chanukah. Take a look at the story of Chanukah. What happened? The great Maccabees, and the leadership of Matidyahu, and then his sons, Judah Maccabee and Shimon, Yonatan, and others, they became the leaders. They became the leader of the military movement. They became the political leaders. Now the Ramban says this is terrible. It says, Yaakov Avinu tells us in Parshas Vayechi, Lo Yasur Shevet MiYehuda, that the staff of leadership and kingship should never move and veer from Judah to anyone else. And therefore the Maccabees were sinful, and that's why they were never fully successful. They eventually disintegrated because there's no room for a Kohen to be a leader. However, the Rambam says, no, it's great. It's great that after all, they were leaders. They led the Jews for 200 years. We had sovereignty. We had peace and quiet from the neighbors, from the enemy, from the oppressors. It's wonderful. So what happens on Chanukah? Whether the Ramban likes it or not, there is role reversal. The Kohen becomes a lay person. So I'd like to suggest the lay person becomes a Kohen. When the Kohen becomes the fighter, when the Kohen becomes the leader, the Jews become the Kohanim. That's what happens in Golus, out in exile, when there's no Beis HaMikdash. Before there was a Beis HaMikdash in the days of Sarah and Rebecca, their homes had to be the Beis HaMikdash. And now today, there's no Beis HaMikdash, there's no Holy Temple in Jerusalem. Our homes have to be we have to be the Kohanim, and our homes have to be the Beis HaMikdash. When your home becomes a Beis HaMikdash, you're Lifnei Hashem. You're in front of God. When you're in front of God, Lifnei Hashem Titaru. Being close with God brings the Torah. It brings a purification. And with this purification, there's joy, and there's purification for every single Jew. Says the Kludge Clever, based on the Sfarim, the early Hasidic Sfarim, they all say that on Chanukah, there's aliyah achlef nefashot b'chutei erech. Even the lowest soul has a tremendous aliyah. We can have a tremendous elevation on Chanukah. Maybe that's why Chanukah became such a popular holiday. It's not because of the Gentile holidays. It's because Chanukah has within it the potential to raise every single Jew. That with a simple act of lighting a Chanukah candle, you don't have to take off work, you don't have to do anything. You just have to light that candle. And with that, every Jew can be elevated. And we can experience a role reversal where we become the Kohanim, our homes become the Beit HaMikdash. And with that role reversal, when a person is connected to the Holy of Holies, to the holy sanctuary where the Chanukah was, then a person also, says the Kludge Clever, experiences a certain tahara, a certain purification. And now we can understand the words of the Maharal of Prague. Chanukah Gemar Kaparas Yom Kippurim. Chanukah is the completion of the atonement of Yom Kippur, because on Yom Kippur, it was only the Kohen Gadol who did the purification. But here, it's every Jew, high or low, all Jews can do the mitzvah of Chanukah and can achieve that ultimate kapara, atonement, and purification. Let's hope that this Chanukah, we not only light the Chanukah, have some presents and enjoy some latkes, but also that we feel that we get to be the Kohen Gadol, we get to be the high priest, our homes are the Beit HaMikdash, we experience Lifnei Hashem, an experience of being in front of God, and with that, let's hope that we have purification, that we are elevated in our worship of God, and that finally we've completed the work of Yom Kippur. Thanks for joining us here at the Anshe Sfard Beth Lemeth Congregation for a discussion of the holidays. Join us each week for a discussion of the Parsha and the how-to videos as well. Thanks to Jason Lefkowitz, our producer. Thank you.
This has been 10 Minutes for Torah with Rabbi Joel Finkelstein. To learn more, visit asb.org.